for inviting me along here today. I'm here to give voice to my constituents of Glasgow Southside, who I am honoured to represent. And I've heard and seen so many emails and stories about people scared for their safety. They're scared to leave their homes. There has been issues with women violently attacked because they're wearing a hijab. I've had a young man violently attacked because he was playing with his friends. And we've also had protests happening within Glasgow that have been intimidating local businesses and people's livelihoods. That is not okay. And today we need a serious discussion on why this is happening and what we can do to make sure that steps happen so it never happens again. So why this is happening, we've heard eloquently from others on the table already. But I think it's important that it's really easy to blame the likes of Reform. And yes, they play a huge part in this. But that's the simple answer, and I think we need to go a lot deeper. The cost of living crisis, we know that throughout history, when people are in poverty and do not have their basic needs met, fascism rises. And then this is entrenched by the likes of Reform, by inflammatory behaviour of members of their party. For instance, during the election campaign, Thomas Kerr demanded mass deportation centres were set up in my constituency of Pollokshields. We had Audrey Dempsey joining a protest just 2 weeks ago, and this protest was even condemned by Police Scotland as an incitement to violence. But what can we do to make sure this stops now? There's a number of things. We've mentioned the police. The police response has been somewhat good, but balancing the safety of people and the safeguarding of my constituents is a constant battle. And I will always be informed by my constituents on what they want to see, whether that's more police, less police, or what they need for their communities. Secondly, we've mentioned that during the protests, we've seen retrospective arrests, but there's been a number of these protesters allowed to disperse and intimidate further in our city. That should not be happening. And thirdly, we spoke about the Nazi salutes. People should not get off scot-free for throwing Nazi salutes. Like, why is this news? Social media plays a huge part, and the media here today play also a really big part, and you have a great power. And what we've failed to do is regulate the flow of hatred online, and instead social media platforms have monetized it. Regulation is needed from all levels of government. We've also mentioned violence against women and girls, and violence against women and girls has been scapegoated, and we're going to hear from more speakers on that later today. But we need to take real action on that. We need to fund frontline services, women's safety organisations. We need to fund education so that women can feel empowered, not just protected at every cost. And we need to fund women's services, not fascist lies. We also finally need to take action on the cost of living crisis. And we all know housing, we have a housing emergency in Glasgow. We need to overhaul the system entirely. Housing is a human right for everyone, and everyone deserves a roof over their head. We need proper rent controls, we need more social housing, we need money to tackle homelessness, and also we need to let people work. Asylum seekers need the right to work. That would inform a better economy, it would relieve our housing stresses, it gives people dignity, and it also helps with our ageing population, as we need workers within our NHS, within care settings, and within our hospitality. This is going to take all of us, every single one of us in this room and afar, the politicians, yes, in Holyrood, but it's going to take everyone in all of civic society to really take on the far right and stamp out racism. Thank you.